I would like to call to order the February 4th Committee of the Whole meeting. Would you please rise for a moment of silence followed by the flag, the pledge. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation, Veterans Island Project, Senator Pennycook and Kathy Peretti.
I usually go over here.
Yeah, yes, that was.
This is on. First, I want to introduce Senator Tracy Pennycook. She's here because of this. That happened on the 10th anniversary of Veterans Island Project, our community day. And our new president of the board, Jamie Sanchez. We have Denise Hughes and Marcia Levengood. They are members of our board, but they are also members of the Daughters of the American Revolution. I have Chris Swenda, and you are an Iraq veteran? No? I'm sorry. Just a peacetime vet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why. You're the Iraq vet. Senator Pennycook is. Chris is also our secretary of our board. We're here tonight because Senator Pennycook awarded us a citation from the Pennsylvania Senate for the work that the Veterans Island has been doing. So we are recognized, Veterans Island Project has been recognized by the Pennsylvania Senate. And this was a big honor for us because our mission is to upkeep and enhance the island as best we can through fundraisers and donations, grants, things like that. And we have made some progress. The DAR will be building a new memorial, as some of you know, and it's probably going to be ready for this 4th of July. And then I'm sure Mr. Lenhart has told everyone we're working on a Global War on Terror monument, which we'll be raising a lot of money for, so just keep that in mind. So right now I'd like Senator Pennycook to say a few words and also about the citation and what it means.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. And when I presented this back in July,
No, September.
so I'm sorry, September. It's kind of all running
I
together.
know.
I'm very proud of Veterans Island. It's rare that you see a community that wants to grow their Veterans Memorial. It kind of becomes another Veterans Memorial. Not in Pottstown. You guys embrace it, and you have really, really tried to expand it, include the Daughters of the American Revolution, include all veterans, which I think is so critically important. And it is a place of peace for some veterans and remembrance. But more importantly, it's a symbol to our young people that if you go into the military, you are never forgotten. Your community is going to have your back. So on behalf of the Senate, and what's nice about this citation is you become part of the Pennsylvania Bulletin. So Pottstown and Veterans Island is now part of the official record of Pennsylvania. So I'm really happy that you guys are going to hang on to it in Pottstown, and I want to thank you for everything that you do for your veterans here. Thank you.
We're presenting this because it's going to do no good hanging around in any of our homes. So we thought this was the perfect place to have it displayed for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that. That was very nice. Thank you. Okay, we got a presentation, BARRC membership, Michael Langhart.
All right. Excuse me. All right, good evening, everybody. I am your Parks Director, Michael. Thank you. I will be doing a presentation on PARC. That's P-A-R-R-C, PARC. That's the Pottstown Area Regional Recreation Committee. So I'm going to cover three components in this presentation. It's going to be an introduction to the organization for new counselors, really geared towards you folks to understand what we do, because it's a rather ambiguous acronym to begin with. We certainly do not have an ambiguous mission. We're going to review the return on investment to date, which is the most recent document that we've put out in conjunction with our annual report. It's definitely worth looking into as we are halfway through our current funding session with PARC, and we're looking towards the future. So it's important for you to understand where we stand respect to that. And then we're just going to give a high-level review of the updated strategic plan that's in its final draft phase. We just completed 5 years of the previous strategic plan, went through the process of planning another one. It's about ready to be published, so I'm giving you a high view of that. Because I'm going through three components, I'll be going through it as quickly as possible because I know you have a big agenda. If you have questions, please feel free to fire them at me afterwards. I'm not trying to just skim over it, but I know you have a lot to do. All right, so here you see a quote from Laura Ingrand of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We're rather proud of this one. So the acronym is the Pottstown Area Regional Recreation Committee. That's 8 municipalities in the greater Pottstown metropolitan region, and they're sharing resources and information for parks and recreation. So why parks and recreation? So we recognize that parks and recreation is an important part of every community. It can bring a lot to quality of life and can bring a lot to property values and the general well-being. But we also know that we have to compete for resources with much more crucial infrastructure, the public works infrastructure. So in order to fund these improvements and continue the mission, we find that we're stronger when we work together as a community, as a greater region. So it doesn't just have to be Pottstown on its own. Certainly we look after our own resources, but PARC allows us to share the load with our neighbors and then also share the benefits with our neighbors. All right. So a brief history of PARC. It was established in 2014 as a subcommittee of the Pottstown Metropolitan Planning Commission. You can see the original members are listed there. Upper Pottsgrove, Lower Pottsgrove, West Pottsgrove, North Coventry, Douglas, Montgomery County, and then, of course, Pottstown Borough. East Coventry was added in 2019 when we were still a subcommittee. So it was funded initially through the DCNR Circuit Rider Program. That's the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. Basically what that did was it started with funding 50%, and you can see we funded just a mere 25%. And then over the years, that funding was rolled back until we now share 50% of the costs with Pottstown Area Health and Wellness, and the other 50% is divided between the participating municipalities. It's provided for through 5-year funding resolutions. So we're halfway through a current 5-year funding resolution that the elected bodies collectively okayed 3 years ago. And again, as you can see, as of 2018, Pottstown Area Health and Wellness, who now PRCF, Pottstown Regional Community Foundation, they do pick up the lion's share. They cover half of the costs, and then the borough covers not 50%, 50% divided by 8. In 2020, we switched over from a subcommittee to an intergovernmental cooperative agency, and then Washington Township joined us in 2022, bringing us to 3 counties. So we're now represented by Berks, Chester, and Montgomery County. That fills all spots that are provided for in the funding resolution originally, which contemplated up to 8 municipalities. So what do? What are the primary benefits? We'll look at it in terms of that. So this is an opportunity to collaborate and communicate with our neighbors within the context of the facilities and programs that unite our populations individually and collectively. That's a long way around of saying we talk about the shared interest in Parks and Rec, which might be different from here to our neighbors, but there are common threads that run through it. We share resources and information. Institutional knowledge is an important one because we all have different parks facilities, different experiences, and we can gain a lot when we simply talk to each other. A short example would be when we were looking at ash tree removal 4 or 5 years ago. One of our neighbors was about a year and a half, 2 years ahead of us on that, simply because they had more trees in a crucial location. So we were able to take some pages from their playbook. We were able to shortcut some of the knowledge just by talking to them at our monthly meetings. And then shared costs. And this is probably the most important thing. The most important thing we do is we share the costs, primarily the shared expenses of the park planner and her assistant. Now, her duties include writing grants for park infrastructure and programs for each municipality. She shares her time around the 8 municipalities, coordinating regional projects such as the Regional Trails Plan, which was done 4 or 5 years ago, and studies. Then she also manages park.net, which includes an interactive map. If you have not seen that yet, you absolutely must. It is a very sophisticated tool that looks at the entire park region, and it shows all of our resources on that map. You can click different layers of that and see trails, see all the murals, see all the historic kiosks, see all of the parks and what they contain. And then generally, the park planner is management of the organization under the guidance of the park board. Now, the park board is appointed by the elected bodies of each municipality. I'm your current representative, but that's how we ensure that everybody's interests are looked after. It's by the elected bodies appointing the individual to the park board. And then finally, the primary benefit that grew out of Park as an ICA is the Park Foundation, Inc. That is a separate 501c3 that is a subset of your intergovernmental cooperative agency. It allows us to seek out funding that normally would not be available to municipalities. Think of your Walmart foundations, private donors who need or want or need to give to a 501c3. That's now provided for with the Park Foundation. Membership in Park ICA guarantees membership in Park Foundation. Okay. So right up here, you will see all of the grants that have been secured by Pottstown to date with work from PARRC Park, the park planner. The park planner is a position whose job it is to be knowledgeable of the needs of each municipality, the infrastructure of each municipality, and to have the skill to write grants with confidence. And that's really what we get out of this, is we have somebody who is dedicated to getting money for your park system, for the regional park system. They're darn good at it, and we're able to therefore move forward with confidence. It's one thing to plan a strategy for park improvement with grant funds in mind. It's another to be able to do that with confidence, and we really do that with confidence because we have an excellent track record of success. We are on our 3rd park planner. Our first park planner was promoted to the borough manager of the borough of Pottstown. Our second park manager retired happily and rode off into the sunset, and our current park planner is Patricia McCloskey. I can't say enough good things about her, but she really is a hard worker and really has your best interests in everything she does. So this is all of our successes to date. This is what it looks like. So park prepared grants awarded to Pottstown since 2014 totaling $1,609,500. The total investments that we have paid to date in terms of our contributions are $55,814. So this is the second component. This is the return on investment report. It really speaks for itself. It doesn't. It's not. You don't need me to explain it to you. You can see it right there. You know, we don't do this to brag. We do this because it's important for you to know and to understand what the money you're authorizing goes to. So the dues we'll be paying out this year are approximately $9,000, all right? So for $9,000, you have a dedicated staff person that is going to go out and make sure that those grants are successful for parks. And that is the other thing to make sure you understand. These are park grants, very specific wheelhouse grants. We do have another grant writer for the borough who does all of your other work. So Patricia is not a replacement for that. She is really committed to the wellness of parks. All right. And so this is our annual draft report. I'm sorry, this is the draft of the annual report. You should have this in your packets to look over at your leisure. I'm not going to belabor too much through this. You can see here it reiterates our mission as it's stated, as well as the members, You can see the awarded grants from this year, and if you look, Pottstown's year was about 26% of the action for the 2 million, and that's 2 million secured for the region just this year. So even though that's not all our money, that's our money collectively because it has to do with our neighbors. These are the projects that were completed this year. You can see our own South Street Park, top left corner. That was 2 grants that were written by the park planner. You can see the much-loved signal box murals, as well as some work from our neighbors in East Coventry Township at the Hoffman Planning Project for the Hoffman property, Lower Pottsgrove, West Pottsgrove. There's a lot of action going on. All right, here's parks by the numbers. You've probably seen a lot of these, but 27 grants awarded totaling $2 million. That's the one we'll stick with. All right. And our last component, which is the strategic plan, you can see here we have identified, and this is the summary sheet. The full plan will be made available to you once it's confirmed at the February meeting. And we focused on offering the right array of services, so continuing to expand rec opportunities for our constituents, or your constituents, revenue sustainability. Again, it's always our mission to find funds for the parks, but also to make sure we're able to manage the affairs of the 501c3, which now requires an annual audit, so we raise money just for those services. Effective collaboration, which has always been the song and dance of park, and operational excellence, continuing to prepare and present reports so that you and the rest of the elected bodies are aware of what we have here and what we're capable of doing. All right, that is the extent of the material I wanted to present to you. Thank you for bearing with me. I know it was a lot to get through, and I'll take any questions if you care to give them. If not here, I believe you can always reach out to me, relative to this by email.
Okay, do anybody have any questions?
All right.
Thank you. Okay, next we have subcommittees reports. Infrastructure, Councilor
No
Kay.
meeting. No meeting.
Okay. Next is transportation.
No meeting.
Okay. Ordinance review.
It was pushed off to the 18th of this month.
Economic development and business liaison.
So I'm not going to be quiet.
Okay,
Economic development's going on every day.
that's right.
Well, good evening, councils. Madam Mayor. So I wanted to just give you some glimpses of what is going on in town as far as sales and leases. They are increased. There are more properties for lease and sale this year than there were last year at this time. And 67% are in that High Street area. There is 52% of those properties, of all of the 27 that are for sale throughout the borough, 52% are on High Street. So what that leads me to is that as far as commercial development goes, the market is really interested in housing. That's where the development community is going, because that's where they feel that there is a safer investment. And so I think that we have to be really mindful about looking at housing developments, making sure they're here, because again, that's a big part of the ecosystem for High Street. There's 23,000 people in the borough of Pottstown. 23,000 people cannot support the size downtown that is there as far as real estate holdings. So we need to continue to look for those appropriate developments and developments of people that are actually going to be able to execute those developments. It's really an important thing. So we need to make sure that we get housing here. We're really excited about the properties that we talked about last month, Dwight City Group, and the property going on at Leavengood Dairy. But we do need to get more people here that live here that can support economic development in the downtown. So I wanted to just give you that briefing. As far as the federal government goes, especially the new counselors probably don't know, we have what are called qualified opportunity zones here. They're based on census tracts. They were the first part of the Trump administration's tax package. They were passed, and the idea was that there was monies tied up in the stock market, in legacy stocks. They weren't really hurting portfolios of individuals, but individuals didn't want to sell them because if they sold them, they would have capital gains tax on them. So if they weren't really hurting, they could just sit there and grow at a slower rate. The idea was to free up that money to create economic development opportunity throughout communities such as Pottstown to be able to encourage development. The breakdown of that is you sold stock, you put your money into what they called O funds. The O funds then were used to go into an investment into a project, a commercial project in a town that was located in an opportunity zone. And if you stayed in that fund for 10 years, when you sold, when you got out of the fund, you only paid 15%. So you were able to delay and you were able to also offset. And anything you made while in that O fund, if it was profitable, you paid no capital gains tax on. So it was an incentive to kind of loosen up money into the marketplace. We applied. In Montgomery County, there were 4 opportunity zones granted. Pottstown got 3 of them. Norristown got 1. Now, the reason that we got 3 was because somebody in their infinite wisdom, when they drew the lines for the census tracts, they drew a line right down the center of High Street. So we made the argument at PAID, this is going to discourage development on one side of the street if we're going to get opportunity funds to invest. So we were successful in that argument, and we were able to go forward. There are new tighter rules. They have now, they're calling it Opportunity Zone 2.0. They have now become a permanent fixture. They were a temporary fixture in tax law. They are now a permanent fixture that was passed in a bill. I won't refer to its name. So those new zones are to be, governors are supposed to, once again, get a process together and recommend what those opportunity zones will be within their state. So that is supposed to happen by January 1st, 2027. There is a gap year going on right now in the legislation, so it's wrapping up in 26. Those people that were in O funds were going to look to apply again. You don't automatically get them. I did meet with people from HUD about 3 weeks ago to really understand. They've been very, very helpful. The cutoff is 20% poverty throughout. We're at 19.7. However, what we are able to look at and what they are going to review is, and nobody would ever consider Pottstown Borough being rural, but because of the population of 23,000, we may fall into that category. It's government. I'm not going to try to make sense of it, but if it's beneficial, right? We did not get what we needed out of those opportunity zones, largely in part because people just didn't understand it. It was very hard, and I could only give them a primer so far, and then I said, and now go get yourself a tax attorney, right? Financial planners did not understand it at all, so there was a disconnect between the development community and the financial plan community to be able to explain these. We're hoping that now we'll have better luck. So PAID is reviewing this. We are staying on top of it. Whether we reapply or not is yet to be determined, but I did want to give you that summary. So that is my economic development report.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any questions? Okay. And the land bank was canceled due to snowmageddon. We didn't have a meeting, so thank you very much, and have a good rest of your month.
Thank you. Okay, boards and committee reports. Business Improvement District.
Hello.
Councilor.
Well, the most important update for the bid is that we hired our Main Street manager, who is in attendance tonight. Okay, her name is Danielle Kangas. Danielle, can you stand?
Yes, please.
There you go, and she
All
will
right,
be,
thank you.
and she was taking over for Danette, who moved on somewhere else. We look forward to working with you, and we should have a little bit of fun, too. DiscoverPottstown.org is continuing to be built out, and BID still has a social media presence on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. Okay? Also, I don't really like it. Okay. But also, there has been some questions with regard to the snow that has fallen and refuses to leave. The bid is not responsible for snow removal. It was never advertised to be snow removal. At one time, its predecessor, Pedita, did take care of the snow removal, and as a former board member of that, I do know that that was pretty much the entirety of its budget, was taking care of the snow removal. High Street is a state road, and PennDOT is responsible for clearing the road, unfortunately not responsible for clearing the parking spaces. So in case anybody was wondering or has misconceptions about that, that is what the deal is. And we'll meet again this month and February 12th, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do to promote the town in a fun way again in the early spring, and have something good, cool going on there. That's my report.
Thank you, Andrew, and thank you for addressing the snow. I appreciate that, because I've been having some, thank you. Thank you. Human Relations Commission, Marcia Levengood.
Good evening, councilors, Madam Councilor President, and Madam Mayor. Recently, Governor Shapiro signed into law the Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. It's called the Crown Act. The legislation amends the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act to expanding the definition of race to include traits historically associated with race, including hair textures, protective hairstyles, and religious creed. The Crown Act basically prohibits employers from discriminating against employees or applicants based on hairstyles, while still allowing businesses to enforce valid health and safety policies that apply equally to all employees. February is Black History Month, where we honor the incredible contributions the Black community has made throughout United States history, from civil rights leaders to artists, politicians, and inventors. We celebrate Black history from the past to the present. To the present, in honor of Black History Month, Madam Council President, the Commission would like to recognize you as the first Black female president of Pottstown Borough Council.
Thank you.
And the Commission's February meeting will be held on Tuesday, February the 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. in council chambers, and all are welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. I appreciate it. Library, do we have anybody?
I don't believe they identified a representative yet.
Okay.
Hey,
They'll
Trinita.
let us know.
Okay.
Trinita,
Yes.
there's something we might want to think about, because I just was reading that the library is no longer going to be allowed to process passports, which was a huge source of their income, and that's going to be a real hit to them. So we're going to probably have to start thinking about ways to figuring out how to help or how to assist them, because that was a huge hit, a huge hit.
Yeah.
And library's a good thing, we want to keep it, and that's not helpful to them.
Absolutely. Thank you for addressing that again. Yep, thank you.
One of the things they did want us to address is that they did get confirmation that Upper Pottsgrove will be providing the full funding amount. So that's great news
That's
to
enough,
hear
that's
that
good.
after
Thanks,
7
Justin.
years.
Yeah, we need that. Yep. Thank you. And we have school district?
So the district, they did not have a traditional board meeting, but they had a workshop. I was unable to attend the workshop, but I did watch it via Facebook. So there was a resolution to limit property tax for the 26-27 year was presented and approved. Budget preliminaries presented by the business manager. First look at the budget should be presented on at the February 12th Finance Committee meeting, but there is a proposed charter school hearing that night also, and that might take up all their time for committee meetings. Committee assignments were also made. Laura is now our borough liaison. There was a discussion about public comment policy that came out of the recent charter school hearings, but they're going to hash more of those details out in their policy committee meeting. And then tomorrow night, there is a charter school hearing that will be at the admin building starting at 5 p.m. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you. And Laura Johnson, can you stand up so those who don't know you know who you are? Thank you. Okay, Mayor, your report?
Yes, since last time, I attended the county commissioners held a leadership networking event at the Montgomery County Cultural Center. And I was joined by Councilman Kagi and Rose, and I got to meet the new elected mayors of Montgomery County and make reconnections with all the county departments and services. So next time, I will try to put together a PowerPoint and packet for all the updated information. But I do have one thing I'd like to highlight from that meeting. The county is opening a 24/7 mental health hub in King of Prussia this year that can serve up to 10,000 people. So I am very excited about this. It is very needed. The Carousel had their thank you dinner for their sponsors and volunteers. Guys, they had a really tough year, so please, please, please support local businesses all the time, not just once a year, all the time. We want them to stay around for a long time to come. One of our residents, Daniel Kyoto, is a terminal double lung transplant waitlister with Penn Medicine. And he's very cool. To stay productive and socially engaged while he's been out of work for 2 years, waiting, he decided to start a nonprofit called Die Laughing Foundation, dielaughing.org, where he has comedy shows to raise money, not for himself, but for other patients at Penn Medicine who are on the transplant list who cannot afford the surgery. So that was a great event, and everybody has such a great outlook on life. It's very nice to see. We had our Tri-County Economic Development Brunch, which highlighted Pottstown and Boyertown. Peggy Lee Clark gave an excellent presentation highlighting our recent successes. Andrew mentioned discoverpottstown.org is in the works and being built out. And just an FYI, the Secret Valley Trail is now called the Iron Valley Trail because the Secret Valley Trail is too close to, I think, Schuylkill River Trail or something. So that's the new name.
Okay.
I participated in the We Care Child Development Center grand reopening. They're on High Street near the Berean Bible Church in Sanatoga. You may have remember they have tables at our play streets. And I'd never been in there. It is a beautiful facility. They are open 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And they take infants all the way through school-age children, and they have separate programs for infants, toddlers, pre-K. If you have a child and you need after-school daycare or pre-K, please go there. It is beautiful. Speaking of schools, unfortunately, I met with the board of Grace Lutheran Church at 660 North Charlotte Street. Their preschool, right, preschool, pre-K, preschool is leaving in May. There is so much space in that building that they need that they have available, and they need some tenants to help them with the cost of heating that building and such. To the extent, I mean, when I say large, think of enormous classrooms with like dividers, like the Crystal Tea Room where you go to conferences and they have the dividers. There's like 7 of those rooms. So either one person or like one business or multiple, if you want. They also have availability. If you want to have meetings there, they will rent out space. So please keep them in mind because we'd like to keep them around as well. And announcements. Coldest night of the year, we are walking to fundraise for Beacon of Hope, which is February 28th at 4 p.m. I created a team called Mayor's Minions. If I didn't personally invite you, please just go and join. We need sponsors. I think we've only raised like total 15% of our goal. So please feel free to donate. Everything goes to Pottstown Beacon of Hope. The walk is at Adams Street. Is it the Y building or is
I
it,
think so.
or is it North End?
No, it's North End, because I remember.
It was before, but I think it's,
I didn't go to last year, if we had one.
that's what I thought. Okay, YMCA. So that's the start and finish. It starts at 4, like registration, and then we do 3 miles and come back and they have some dinner and it's very nice. I've done it like every year since they've had it. It's a great group of people that come out. And let's see. Oh, Hobart's Run and Pottstown Regional Community Foundation have partnered. I've been asked by Hobart's Run to announce that they've expanded their homeowner incentive program, which now includes the entire ETOD district, which is between beach and industrial. And so for new homeowners, but you must close by June 30th is the deadline. They're offering $6,000 towards closing costs. In addition, up to that June 30th deadline, their facade improvement grants have increased up to $15,000 for projects, and the projects must be completed by June 30th. And my little, through Strive, turned 18, so I would like to take this opportunity to publicly embarrass her and to wish her a very, very happy birthday. And last but not least, on upcoming events,
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes,
what format would you like to see them in? We have done a couple different ways. And now that the Community Leaders Breakfast Meeting format has changed, those events don't come out until later this week. So I wouldn't be able to get them until Monday. So I was wondering if you want the list of events, if I could do it on the Monday council meeting or put it in the packet, but it won't come out until that Monday. If I want to include all of that.
let me think about it.
Okay, you let me know. You
Yeah,
think?
I will.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Managers report, Justin?
Yes, good evening, everyone. So with 2025 now almost, pretty much fully closed out in terms of our books and our projects and everything that we were dealing with, it's that time of the year where I like to go over some of the major milestones that the borough has accomplished in the previous year. And I think that a lot of this is a testament to the staff, our elected officials, our consultants, our vendors, for really their commitment to improving the infrastructure and enhancing the community, and then addressing key concerns of residents. So I just wanted to kind of take a moment and provide a summary of some of the things that we did last year and the progress that we made. It's always good to try to reflect on that in the midst of everything else going on. So some borough department statistics for you. Public Works responded to 1,812 work orders across sewer collection, water distribution, and streets. That reflected a 9.5% decrease from the number of work orders in the previous year. However, they also responded to over 1,100 PA one-call requests to mark utility lines in the streets. Licensing and inspections processed 1,110 code enforcement service requests, which was a 0.9% decrease from the previous year. The police department in 2025, they answered 29,220 calls for service. That's 709 more calls than in 2024, which represents a 2.43% increase, or an average of 80 calls a day. The fire department recorded 1,642 calls for service, marking a 0.8% decrease from 2024, with an average of 4.5 calls per day. So really kind of gives you an idea of the magnitude of things that we're dealing with here across every department on a daily basis and trying to respond to the needs of our citizens. Then we have things like planning for the future, right? So we have the grants that we have sought and secured. In 2025, the borough applied for nearly $35.5 million in grant funding from federal, state, and local sources. And to date, we are successful with awards totaling $3.59 million to support critical projects and initiatives. Of the $35 million that we put in applications for, about $16 million of that was for the extension of Keystone Boulevard. So we weren't successful on that one, but we had a pretty good rate of success on everything else. Then in terms of, significant infrastructure and construction projects that were underway this year, it seems like every year we've got a long list, and this year was no different. The borough and the authority collectively completed over $7 million in infrastructure projects, showcasing the significant investment in the community's future, and really, a testament to the dedication of everyone that's involved in making those projects happen. The authority completed lead line replacements under Phase 2 and 2.5, which included 790 investigation pits, 282 public lead service line replacements, 25 private lead service line replacements, with 5,500 linear feet of service line replaced under the $2.8 million project to improve water quality and safety. The authority also completed a $1.7 million water and sewer main replacement project, and that included the replacement of 1,000 feet each of water and sewer lines, which culminated with the repaving of about 1 mile of roadways. Some stormwater improvements in the borough. We did complete a $800,000 repair for a failing stormwater arch located at 1200 High Street. That was fully funded by grants. Parks and Recreation, they were very busy this year. They completed the South Street Park with an investment of $242,000 to install new ADA accessible and inclusive playground equipment. They upgraded Brookside Park with new playground and basketball amenities, providing a much-needed improvement for that neighborhood. At Memorial Park, we completed the removal of the baseball field and ready for conversion into a multi-use sports field and a opportunity to adapt to the changing sports needs of the community, and also provide better resiliency for our infrastructure during flooding. We opened the extension of Pollock Park at 860 Cross Street with 2 new basketball courts, parking and lighting, and site amenities at no cost to the borough through a partnership with BASF that also remediated the site. And we also installed additional artist murals on traffic signal boxes. Public Works, they're nearing completion of the installation of about 1,800 new energy-efficient LED streetlights across the borough. They also installed several hundred more meters this year that will incorporate the smart meter reading technology. We, at Borough Hall here, we installed a new rooftop HVAC system. We did a lot of paving this year. We completed a borough-wide paving initiative valued at $800,000, paving 4.21 miles of roadways. We completed repaving and stormwater improvements to enhance public parking lot number 3 off of Evans Street. A couple of airport improvements. We completed a $378,000 rehabilitation of the parallel taxi surface, which now brings all of the surfaces up there at the airport to pretty fairly new condition. And then we also replaced the maintenance hangar roof at the airport with a standing seam metal roof. Couple of programs that we initiated, we were looking to conduct a lot of efficiency this year, so our fats, oils, and grease program transitioned to a fully digital model now, so they've digitized all their paper records for the restaurants and other businesses that they have to go inspect. And also, they now have tablets in the field with real-time field data entry for photo uploads, and they've completed the digitization of the business records. An online payment portal was launched for the rental license and property transfers with direct links and options for paper bill delivery. PA One Call, that was also automated now to the point where we can get automated emails out from the PA One system that turn into work orders for our staff that can go out and immediately address them in the field and then provide their response via tablets for a faster response and to improve the compliance tracking. And L&I was also successful in importing and verifying a lot of the borough-wide businesses into our system so that we can improve enforcement as well as economic development metrics. So all in all, you know, I think that this doesn't include everything, and I apologize if I did miss everything, but this really represents a lot, and of course, we couldn't do it without the support and guidance of Borough Council. But I think this really, each year we build a stronger foundation for the future, and I really look forward to continuing momentum in a few years. So just like a round of applause for everyone that was involved in all these efforts in 2025. Thank you. All right, just a couple more housekeeping items for you. So just wanted to let council know that we did apply for a Commonwealth Financing Authority small water and sewer for $500,000 for stormwater arch rehab at the State Street and Hanover Street location. We were not successful in that one, so we did get word. We'll be reapplying again. I know that I think Senator Pennycook left, but she was very helpful in that in the future, and we'll be reaching out to her to see if she can get us back up to the top of the list for funding. We do have an update on the Franklin and Evans Street bridges. So these are the ones that the borough is responsible to pay 40% of the cost share. When we had reported on them a couple months ago, we were trying to value engineer the project to try to save money, knowing that a full bridge replacement for these is probably due in the next 5 or 10 years. We went through that process and we found that we really weren't saving a lot of money on that by relocating the sidewalks off the bridge. So the sidewalks will now be rebuilt as they are today and remain in place. The project total doesn't really change. It's 1.1 million. Split between those three entities that we have funding to pay for through our capital savings. Just an update on that upcoming work on High Street from PICO. So they're expected to begin on or after the week of February 9th on West High Street from Flag Lane to East Rice Street. They're going to be completing this work Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And the project is expected to be completed in May of 2026. Project will be completed by Utility Line Services, who is a qualified contractor with PICO. So they're in the process of mailing out notifications to all the customers in that area that will be impacted, but you should expect that there will be some lane restrictions during this construction period. And sorry to go so long tonight, but we had a lot going on in 2025, but that concludes my report.
Thank you, Justin. Next, solicitor discussion, general discussion.
Yes, thank you, President Lindsay. First, more generally, we don't always list this on the agenda each month, but from month to month, if you have any specific legal questions, please feel free to reach out. And likewise, if there are any topics that you think would be beneficial for me to speak on to council or to your constituents, please let me know, and we can slate that in and address that. More specifically, in your email should be a guidance email from me that was sent out earlier this week with a couple attachments regarding potential changes to the agenda. I'll try and briefly go over it now, but a pre-agenda, generally we were discussing the council meeting and, sort of how overwhelming the motions can be and how monotonous that can make the meeting, especially for the public as you go through each individual item. There's a reason that the agenda is structured that way. At your reorganizational meeting every 2 years, you adopt your meeting rules, which are based on Robert's Rules of Order. Pottstown's about medium as far as what level of parliamentary procedure you follow, but technically based on Robert's Rules of Order, when you're at your business meeting, you need a motion on the floor in order to discuss a topic. So generally, it's not a topic listed, you open the floor for discussion, and then a motion's made. It's the opposite. That's why it's structured the way it is with Committee of the Whole, generally discussing, what may be dealt with at the council meeting, as well as you being briefed on the topic. And then in the interim, a proposed motion is presented to you, basically to get the conversation started. And that's why as we go through, each and every item has a proposed motion, has to be read, seconded, and then the floor is open for discussion and action. Robert's Rules of Order does give an alternative, which is called the consent agenda or consent calendar in Robert's Rules. And basically, the short of it is it lets you bundle together potential actions that really there's going to be no discussion and there's unanimous approval of. These are going to be routine actions like approving, awards for minor bids, adopting, certain resolutions, things like that. Topics which are going to be more controversial or at least even one counselor wants to discuss or there's going to be dissent on would then be reserved for new business. I marked up November's meeting agenda, based on if you adopted the structure with the consent calendar, and you can take a look at sort of how it streamlined most of the actions and limit it to really just 4 items under new business, which would have been the budget, the tax ordinance, zoning application, I forget what the 4th one was, but really more matters of significance. It's also helpful because council and the public know coming into the meeting sort of what is really going to be the meat and potatoes of the meeting, for discussion that evening. With that, if anything is ever listed in the consent calendar, when we get to the meeting on Monday night, any counselor could ask that it be removed from the consent calendar and put into new business. So you're not necessarily locked in if there's some development between Monday and Wednesday. And again, there can be different reasons for that. Maybe you just want to voice your opposition. Maybe you want to vote no. All of that is acceptable. Additionally, if you were to adopt this change in Committee of the Whole, it would be a little bit different. We'd go through each topic item, and essentially we determine whether it would be listed on the consent calendar or listed for new business. That's going to happen pretty quick and be pretty routine once you get into it. What we're proposing is a trial run of this for 2 months, February and March, and then listing it potentially for discussion and action in April if you wanted to formally revise the meeting rules to adopt this. With that, any questions, thoughts?
Definitely in favor of a more concise meeting.
Okay.
Can you tell me how that affects February? Since we're in February, right? We are, yeah?
Yep, so basically now as we go through the following agenda items, we're essentially going to decide, is this going to be listed on the consent calendar or is it going to be listed for new business? If there are certain items, like for example, we're going to talk about the records destruction resolution, usually adopt that without any discussion, because it's routine. So that would most likely be listed on the consent calendar. When you get to Monday's meeting, the agenda is going to have all those consent action items listed out, and it's just going to be one motion to, we can decide the wording, but basically motion to approve and authorize the consent calendar as presented. And rather than going through 8 or 9 different motions on all those things, it would just be the one, and then we'd go on to new business.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, unless there's any objection, we'll proceed. For these next, do you want to go on?
No, you can go ahead. You can. I don't need to.
All right. For these next two items are related to applications to the zoning hearing board, which are pending. Again, in terms of the structure of it, committee of the whole is really about information gathering. So I would encourage you to use tonight, we've invited both applicants here to present. Use this as an opportunity to ask questions and get as much information as you can. Take the weekend, consider it, and then these will be listed for new business on Monday evening for full discussion and potentially action for you to decide whether or not you want to take a position on either of these. As far as the first one, it's an application that involves two parcels that are located at 79 East High Street and 148 Chestnut Street. It's located at the corner of those two roads in the TTN district and Counselor Vanny's ward.
Is that Hanover?
Hanover.
Did you say hi?
Sorry, I meant Hanover.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hanover.
Correct, yeah.
I miss here, so I wanted to make sure.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic, so
Oh, me too.
you'll
It's
hear
all
me
right.
swap words in and out all the time, so never,
We translated it for you.
Yeah, we
I
got it.
appreciate it. And again, it's in Counselor Vanny's ward. The property owner is Lastic Acquisitions LLC. They are the applicant for this application. It is the site of the now burned down Invictus Ministries Church. The applicant is seeking to redevelop the property as a 6-unit multifamily building with a detached garage. The proposed development will require a variety of zoning relief. At this point, the hearing is not yet scheduled, but the applicant's attorney, Mike Murray, is here with us this evening to present. And again, I encourage you to ask any and all questions you have about the project.
Good evening, everyone. I am here on behalf of the applicant, Lastic Acquisitions, the owner of the property. As your solicitor indicated, this site is the site of the Invictus Church that was a result of a demolished or devastated by a fire in October. Since that fire, the applicant or the property owner has been, I guess, working with borough staff into getting the property secured for safety reasons, and then also to expedite a reasonable development plan to get something approved here so it can get cleaned up and be a productive property in the borough as quickly as possible. There was several iterations of layout, but through the discussions with borough staff, it was recommended to make sure the property faces on Chestnut Street, or development faces Chestnut Street versus Hanover. There was multiple twin units, and they've been condensed down to try to keep this together and to create an access drive as far back on the property as possible to get to the rear. What is being proposed is, all is described as multifamily. There will be 6 single-family residential units in a condominium style. These units will be 3 stories high. On the ground floor, there will be a 2-car garage, as well as behind each unit, 2 parking spaces for each unit. So 4 spaces should be provided for each unit if you include the spaces that are in the garage. The other thing that's being proposed as part of this development is a private garage. If you see at the end of the driveway along the back there would be a private garage there that could be used for additional storage or cars if needed. My understanding is there's been some discussions with neighboring property owners of potentially letting them utilize the garage as well. Why don't we go to the rendering? This is a conceptual rendering of what he's proposing. This is what would be facing on Chestnut Street. Part of the goal is to incorporate what remains of the front facade wall of the church. I'm going to walk up and put there, incorporate that into the side that's facing Hanover Street, as well as some of the bricks with a approximately 6-foot-high accent wall along there. We did file, as I indicated, work with the borough staff, got a plan in to be reviewed by the zoning officer to try to identify what zoning relief is necessary. The borough zoning ordinance is a little difficult in a lot of the area and bulk requirements are based on an analysis of the surrounding area within 250 feet. We did put together an analysis of all the properties and came up with what we believe the zoning relief that potentially is necessary. The zoning is just the first step in this. This would be subject to land development review and approval. So getting the basic foundation down with the zoning approval, it'll then go through a full, thorough engineering land development review by the Planning Commission and then come before council for land development approval. The church that was there, they said its footprint it's a corner property, which causes, difficulty in relation to some of it. The church had over an 8,000 square foot footprint. The entire building that's being proposed has approximately a 4,600 square foot footprint, so it's quite a reduction from what the church footprint was before. Won't be as close to the neighboring properties as the church was. Create some space there. For instance, the driveways are supposed to enter from the rear of the property. Well, the driveway, if you looked at the plan, was proposed. It's coming off the side to get to the rear. Because there's two front yards, there's no direct access to the rear without going through. Hanover Street is a PennDOT road, so we're avoiding dealing with the PennDOT road and going from what was considered the side street, Chestnut. One of the variances being requested is with regard to a height allowing 35 feet. Based on the analysis of the neighborhood, it would have been permitted to be up to approximately 31.5 feet. But even though they're asking for approximately a 4-foot variance to allow that height, it's still significantly lower than what the church was before. We're also, by incorporating the facade of the church into this, that's kind of setting what the front yard is, set back from the right-of-way with that church facade. So there's variances related to, because even though the church, if the church was still there, it would set a pre-existing legal nonconformity. The fact that the church had burned down, we're back to square one and need to request variances from those setbacks. So our goal is to get to the zoning hearing board as quickly as possible. Why don't you bring that one other, we have the photo too, just so you can see. Here's a photo of the front of the building, and there's the front facade that they're going to try to work into this development. There's also some communication as early as this afternoon. There apparently is the bell from the church is in good shape, and they're going to look to try to incorporate the bell into some of the feature of this development to try to maintain some of the historical nature, character of what was there prior to the fire. And I guess with that, I'll open up if you have any particular questions.
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Try the best I can to answer.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Okay.
And I do have a representative of Lastic here.
Okay. I have a question. Okay, I'm looking at your development and looking at the review letter done by Patty. For example, 3081, no calculations were provided to indicate how setback was calculated. A variance is required for this condition. The next one, no calculations were provided to indicate how setback was calculated. A variance may be required.
I'm ready to answer your question.
Good, let me hear it.
So that was issued before the latest issue of the plan and the analysis that was provided at the back of the packet. So those items were addressed by providing that information with after
So
that issue.
this letter, when it says a variance may be required, now a variance will be required for that condition, or did you fix that?
Some of them we fixed, and some of them we need variances.
So we're looking at something to vote on that's basically based on a review letter that's not accurate.
Well, I guess,
Yeah.
so there was a draft plan that was submitted. Patty indicated she needed additional information to be provided. We, again, in an abundance to try to move forward as quickly as possible as you know, working with the borough staff, we went through that letter, we went through the, I guess, the analysis and determined what specifically the relief is. For instance, if you look at the variance that's now asked for from 308.1, we did that analysis and determined that the existing front yard setbacks are 16 point, or the average of all the properties within 250 feet is 16.69 feet along North Hanover Street, where we're proposing 14.05, and 20.78 feet along Chestnut Street, where we're proposing 10.7 feet. We are indicating that we asked, we're asking that there potentially be a determination that that's a pre-existing non-conforming condition based on the church facade that we want to incorporate in the building, but in the alternative, requesting a variance to that section if they determine that it's lost the non-conformity because the church burnt down.
Interesting. Like I said, I guess what I'm getting at is we have a package, and the package says items, and what we're doing now is, if I hadn't asked the question, we would be looking at something that was not, this isn't the letter that we're dealing with.
Well, I didn't appeal the letter. I asked for specific zoning relief.
Okay.
That the original letter was an initial review. They went back, they did the analysis.
If I could just clarify a little bit, so staff did receive a response from Hal Engineering. It's in the attachment right after our zoning officer's letter that clarifies what the requirements are after they went out and did the measurements. So
My point is that at any point when they do get scheduled in front of the zoning hearing board, will there be one zoning hearing meeting, or they're going to come back to us for another one when they figure out what they, when Patty figures out, gets the information, they need to make the determination of whether or not a variance is needed?
no, we can have an updated variance sheet for Monday night.
All right, and the other thing is this is Elastic Acquisitions, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Are they the same principals that are owners of, or were involved in the development of Hanover Square?
Which one's Hanover's?
Hanover Square is the old Mrs. Smith's property.
Yes.
They are?
Well,
Okay.
I guess Lastic did not do that development, is that Rockwell? Yeah, so they're related entities, but not the same.
Okay. So I've always tried to do things by, I don't take what people say, I take what people do. And from what I've understood, there are many unresolved issues still from that development that have not been addressed to people in council's satisfaction. So that's one thing. The next thing is this is the church, correct? And you indicate that this was a church that was beautiful and it had all these items that were beautiful, majestic ceilings, walls full of stained glass, all of which are gone because of a fire, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that fire may have been precipitated by a property that was not, a vacant property that was not secure. And just last month, we heard some of our citizens come in and talk about how that property is still unsecure and people are still there. So I understand you're coming with us, asking for us to, vote favorably on this, but how do we take the past actions into consideration when you ask these things?
Well, my understanding is that the property owner has been working with the borough to get the property secured. The borough has recommended additional items, and I believe that they've complied with everything that the borough has asked them to do at this point.
Okay. Next thing, you're obviously well familiar with the requirements of a variance.
Correct.
Obviously. How do you get around that this hardship's not self-inflicted? Is there nothing you can do on that property?
Well, the existing condition of the property, the fact that it's a corner property, may make it difficult to develop in conformance with the ordinance, especially in light of the fact that this property had such a substantial structure. The demolition and rehabilitation costs are going to be astronomical, and obviously a significant development needs to be involved here to warrant what needs to be done.
I don't have anything else.
To clarify, Mike, do you anticipate amending your application? You've got your list of variances in there. Is that what you're proceeding on at the moment?
That is correct. That is the variances. After we got the initial review, we did the neighborhood analysis. House submitted their summary of what was needed. We had further discussions with Patty, the zoning officer. That's what we determined the zoning relief necessary was based on that.
And at this point, you don't anticipate any amendment, particularly one that would add additional variances? to the list?
Nothing to add additional variances. There may be some removed, but no additional variances requested.
Okay.
And then I'll give you an example. The ones were related to what does the borough interpret this to be? Is it a single building, or is it semi-family detached buildings? If it's a single condominium building, then we don't need, I guess, the variance to the definition of single-family attached dwellings.
I hope that clarifies. If not, ask me any questions on the procedure as well. Any other questions from council?
I'd say that 6, fair market townhomes like that with, that meeting our parking requirements would be a good thing. If it were denied, I think we'd be looking at a pile of bricks for at least a year, if not longer.
And the history, I guess they acquired the property in 2024. The property has had a history of being broken into even prior to this owner, which made it, I guess, I'll say difficult, extremely expensive to have. They had liability insurance on the property. They did not carry insurance to rebuild it, but had liability insurance to protect damage to neighboring properties on it. But prior to that, they were reaching out to speaking to the neighborhood as well as the borough with regard to what they could have used the church for. Their original plan was to convert that into an apartment building. Obviously, there was some pushback with regard to providing adequate, this property had really no parking, and to provide parking for, over a dozen units on the property. They were exploring options of trying to obtain parking from other places, and that was not working out. They had discussions with PAID on what other type of development, or this can be converted to self-storage, and ran through a litany of other items. And we're trying to work through that with something reasonable until the property burnt.
Yeah, and saving the facade or that little vestige of the church would be an excellent touch. And if you need a variance for that, I think would be appropriate. And then everybody's wondering what's happening with the bell, so I'm glad you do touch on that as well.
That was part of the discussion today.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a question, I have a concern.
Okay.
Because I base things off what I see, and I've lived in Hanover Square for 13 years. I've seen the owner's work. So I don't have any questions. My concern is what that property would look like, because the townhomes I live in should have looked like that. And I think the town council needs to seriously consider what they're going to do here. And if you have a question, please contact me and I will walk you through the development that I lived in. When I bought my home, brand new, I now live in a trashy rental community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Anything else to add, Mr. Murray?
No, and just to clarify, that it's not the intention for this to be a rental community. It is to be, a single-family ownership of the units.
Right, and that wasn't the intention of Hanover Square either, and but it turned out to be.
Your microphone's off.
What they say, not what they do.
I heard them.
Right backwards, other way, reverse it. No, I'm done.
And I would like to see something like this, but I have got to go based on what I experience. And I have tried to work over the years to make that development better, to no avail. So it's frustrating to hear somebody come in here and say how great it's going to be and how much people care when I live on a daily basis in the exact opposite. And I look at the repercussions from decisions like this.
If there's nothing else from council, this will be listed for new business on Monday evening. At that time, you'll have an opportunity to discuss it more fully and decide whether you want to take a position on this application. Before you go, Mr. Murray, Mike, this isn't scheduled yet, right? We didn't see.
I guess we were hoping for the February 25th meeting, but I have not gotten any kind of notification that we're on that agenda yet.
Okay, same thing on our end.
Okay.
All right, thank you. The second zoning application concerns 267 East High Street. It is a two-story building, mixed-use commercial building. The applicant is Jaft LLC. The applicant's proposing to redevelop the interior of the property, with the first floor being a mix of retail, office space, and residential. The second floor being a restaurant, and the applicant's proposing rooftop dining on the top of the property. It was determined that this would require a variance from the outdoor dining section of the zoning ordinance. Again, this is not yet scheduled for hearing, and this property is in Councilor Vanny's ward. We had invited the applicant to come and present this evening. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant? Mr. Trench? The floor is yours if you want to present, and then open it up for questions.
Good evening, everyone, council. My name's Fabian Trench. I'm here representing Jaft LLC, owner of the property at 267 East High. Tonight, I'm respectfully here requesting a variance to allow accessory rooftop outdoor dining associated with a second floor restaurant I'm trying to create here. The first floor of the building is retail storefront space. The second floor is an approved restaurant. And the upper levels, excuse me, the upper levels contain a residential unit in the rear. Currently, there is no outdoor dining or courtyard at the rear or front of the building due to the long and narrow configuration. There's simply no ground level space available for the outdoor dining. What we're proposing is very straightforward. We're not creating any additional businesses. This will be a part of the same restaurant. Just asking for variance for extension of the existing restaurant to give patrons the ability to dine outdoor on a nice summer or fall day. Let's see. So we got there's no feasible way for us to conduct a outdoor patio on the front without interfering with the existing sidewalks. So the only option we have here would be extension of the existing rooftop. We're using the existing space. We'll also provide engineering drawings to show that the existing space can maintain the use of multiple patrons at the same time. From an operational standpoint, the space will be professionally managed, just like the indoor restaurant. Our outdoor hours will be controlled and consistent with the restaurant. Staff will supervise the area at all times. This is not intended to be a nightclub or an entertainment venue. It'll be a quiet, controlled atmosphere focused on food service. From a construction and safety perspective, everything will be designed and built to meet code. The deck is proposed to be an engineered flooring. Guardrails will be installed. Proper egress and stair will be provided. Lighting and safety systems will be in place. And all permits and inspections will be obtained. As a contractor myself, safety and compliance are extremely important to me, and we'll make sure everything is done correctly. At the back of the packet I provided, it shows some inspirational images of what I intend to create in this space. And it's an accessory use to an existing building. Like I said, I'm not intending to build anything else. It's just utilizing the existing space. I don't intend to change the look of the neighborhood or anything, just to make it more inviting for outsiders as well as residents of the area to enjoy the area more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
This is the infamous property that has the tulip posters in the window,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, it is.
Will you be keeping those in the?
I can have those removed as
Okay,
early
I
as
have a
tomorrow if it's.
past
Thank you.
counselor that would
Yeah.
Maybe have them
appreciate that.
framed just for,
If you
Posterity.
consider that an eyesore, I'll have them removed by tomorrow.
Somebody did.
But it is my intention to re-gentrify that building. It is to my knowledge that it's been sitting for over 8 years vacant. So I've lived in Pottstown since 2017, so that's 8 years. I've seen the changes that's taken place, and given the ability to do this would mean a lot to me, as I would be a part of this change.
I like that.
Mr. Trench,
Yes.
how you doing?
Great.
How many guests would you anticipate being on that rooftop dining experience?
So including the inside and the outside, it would be a total of 203. That's the capacity.
Well, what about on the roof?
On the roof is 75.
Okay. Matt, I have a question. Is the variance required because the current ordinance does not even address rooftop dining as a option, or does it say rooftop dining is not allowed?
Yeah, I didn't discuss it with the zoning officer, but that's my read of it.
Which one?
Which for what?
That it's not allowed, period, or it's just not it's not covered by the ordinance?
It's not covered by the ordinance, so it's arguably not allowed. The way the ordinance is structured, it has to be explicitly permitted to be allowed. And there's nothing that really addresses a rooftop, really any activity on the rooftop of properties within the borough. So the closest use would have been outdoor dining, which was the zoning officer's determination, and the variance is based off that.
Okay, so, but therefore there is a gap in our ordinance that would allow, or that would regulate rooftop dining, correct?
That's what I expect. Again, I haven't looked at it, but that's what I expect the answer to be.
Okay, so that's how he would say that the hardship was not self-inflicted because he can't put any kind of activity on there whatsoever. He couldn't put 2 tables and a chair up there, because that would be rooftop dining. Okay, that's all. That's good, thanks.
By not having a ceiling over you? I assume.
Again, I haven't looked at it, but I know our ordinance pretty intimately. I don't think there's just anything that addresses rooftop activity, period. You know, and again, the way our ordinance is written, because we're part of a regional plan, you know, most municipalities have to provide for every use, you know, within the municipality. Because we're part of a regional plan, we don't have to. And again, where our ordinance is interpreted, it has to be explicitly permitted in the ordinance to be allowed. And I don't, again, I can't think of anything that would have addressed this in the
No,
ordinance.
Okay, yeah, no, that's why I asked that. Then I guess that's maybe something that ordinance review would want to think about, which is in the event that Mr. Trench goes and he is unsuccessful in getting a variance, perhaps we would want to consider creating that kind of a accessory use to the building. Okay, if he is unsuccessful. Because
I think we should do that anyway. I would love to see a rooftop restaurant. We need more places here to sit outside and eat, and I can promise you, I would be up there. I would just want to make sure that, obviously, the hours are okay, that noise wouldn't bother anybody because you're up and outside.
Right.
But other than that, I would be really excited to see something like that. And then you would have retail at the bottom. Did I
Yes.
understand that?
Yes, there will be retail.
That would be great.
So I intend it would be 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. opening. There's no intention for excessive noise. There won't be any loud music or such.
I'll complain.
Yeah, so, but I guess my question would be if that is a problem for the outdoor dining to not be covered, if I would incorporate some kind of retractable roof system, would that still be considered outside, you know?
I mean, I don't have a problem in talking to you about this now. I don't anticipate an issue. And I would like to see a rooftop restaurant. Unless somebody were to come and say that sound would be an issue and you would need some retractable thing, I personally, without a whole lot of knowledge in that, wouldn't think that would be necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Be an awesome addition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do too.
absolutely.
I really like to sit outside.
I mean,
Yeah,
people
me
are
too.
coming to our town for unique experiences.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that would be a very unique experiences. And the renderings that you have there, I mean, that would be just a cool thing.
Yes,
So,
Yeah.
I feel like we're missing that elevated experience of dining. The Blue Elephant has a little bit of that, but I'm trying to go a notch above.
I know that's
So-
right.
Keep raising the bar.
Keep
There you
raising
go.
the bar.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So, all right.
Thank you, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming
Thank you.
prepared.
Yes.
Thank you. And again,
All right, yeah, oh, absolutely. Give them those props.
and again, this will be listed on Monday night under new business for you to discuss it more fully and decide whether you want to take a position relative to the zoning hearing board proceedings.
Heart and lung.
Heart and lung claims. This one's a little more ministerial. Typically in Pennsylvania, if someone gets injured at work, they qualify for workers' compensation, which will supplement some of your lost income. Generally, for most people, it ends up being about 2/3 of your income. Pennsylvania has the Heart and Lung Act, which provides an additional layer of protection for police officers who are injured while engaged in active police work, essentially. So, if an officer is in actively arresting someone or something along those lines and gets injured, the Heart and Lung Act makes up that gap for what workers' comp doesn't provide the officer. So essentially, the officer gets 100% of their salary while they qualify for heart and lung benefits. Occasionally, disputes do arise related to heart and lung claims. It is sort of a legal factual question whether the officer was hurt while engaging in active police work, and likewise on the back end, whether the person, remains disabled at that point and unable to return to work. Our ordinances do not specify who would handle one of those challenges or appeals if it were ever to arise. Chuck as part of the transition, had noted that to me and recommended that we address that. I'm recommending that on Monday night you adopt a resolution which would appoint the Civil Service Commission as the arbiter for those claims, because council is allowed to take a position, if appeal or challenge is ever raised. And Civil Service Commission currently handles not just your testing, but potentially could handle appeals related to discipline and other police matters. So they make the most sense, and that's what most municipalities do. Unless there's any questions on that, we'll list that in the consent calendar. All right.
Okay.
The second one then is also ministerial, the Records Destruction Resolution. Pennsylvania has the Municipal Records Act. It requires that all municipal documents, be retained, and provides a specific schedule for when documents could be destroyed, and also requires that the destruction of any government documents, including municipal documents, have to be approved by the governing body by resolution. Annually, we reach out to the departments and request lists from them of the documents that could be destroyed and they're seeking to destroy at this time. So on the agenda for Monday evening will be a resolution along with the list of, what the proposed documents are to be destroyed by Finance, HR, Park and Rec, and the Police Department. Again, if there's no questions or objections, we'll list this as part of the consent agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Rebid, Manatoni Green?
Yes, so the bids were open for the rebid, and this is for the carpeting at Manatoni Green. It's past, or getting towards its end of useful life, so we do need to look to replacing it. This is the second bid that we went out with that we weren't satisfied with the results. This one even more so because the bids exceeded the number that we were originally given by contractors who provided estimates to our engineer by almost 250%. So we're recommending rejection of these bids while staff evaluates options to either rebid the project or to rework the scopes so that it comes under the bidding threshold and that we can work with the contractors who originally provided quotes to us or to our engineer with the better pricing. So unless there's any objection, we would list this on Monday night for the consent agenda.
Okay. RFP, Borough Engineer?
So as you recall, back in October, we advertised the RFP for municipal engineering services, and we formed a review committee consisting of Councilor Menastra, Councilor Kirkland, myself, as well as Patty Kaufman, our zoning officer, to review the proposals and shortlist the firms. So in late January, the selection committee got together and shortlisted and interviewed 6 of the firms that submitted proposals as a part of the process. And we're currently checking some backgrounds on some of these and checking reference on some of them. We'll have a finalized review and recommendation ready for council on Monday night. So we would also recommending adding this to new business on the agenda on Monday night, in case there's any discussion needed.
Okay, DCNR grant resolution for,
Yeah, so 2026, Parks is going to be busy again, as always. And their focus is going to be securing more funding for Pollock Park. We have most of the funding available for the remediation, but now we are looking for funding for the improvements that will go in after the remediation in accordance with the Pollock Park master plan. So we are planning to submit an approximately $125,000 grant to DCNR C2P2 for the improvements. We do already have a match in hand of $75,000 from the Greenway Trails and Recreation Program and a borough match of $50,000 that's budgeted for in 2026. So unless there's any objection, we would list this on the consent agenda for Monday night.
okay, Safe Digging Month resolution.
Yeah, so this is a resolution that we do every year. Basically, PA One Call asks for us to support and promote Safe Digging Month for the month of April by way of a resolution. Basically, people, we want to try to get the word out that contractors, even homeowners, to call 811 if they're doing any kind of excavation or digging work at their property to avoid hitting any underground utilities. So unless there's any objection, we would list this resolution on the consent agenda for Monday as well.
Okay, and part audit.
The part audit was completed back in December, and we're happy to report that there were 0 findings on that audit. So it's now ready for council action. So again, we would recommend that this would be listed on the consent agenda for approval on Monday night.
And go forth beer garden requests?
This is a similar request to what we had in previous years. So they're asking for a beer garden on July 4th in Memorial Park from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. There would be a rain date of 7/11/26.
Okay, and street closure request for the 4th of July parade, Pottstown Rotary.
Yep, so pretty much the same plan as last year. 8:30 would be the assembly, 10:15 the parade would start, and 12:30 would end. The parade will be Bailey to Manatawny, but the detour closure area will be on High Street from College Drive to Eden Street. So we would also propose to list this on the consent agenda for approval Monday, as well as the beer garden request before this.
Okay, and for upcoming board vacancies, Harb, 1-year term to expire April 1st, 2027. We have no applicants for this. Environmental Advisory Council, 2 3-year terms to expire August 10th, 2025. 1 applicant. And I can't pronounce his name, but I'm going to spell it. Eline? Eline. Thank you. Eline. And Planning Commission, 1 4-year term to expire February 1st, 2026, and 1 4-year term to expire February 9th, 2029. We have 2 positions and 3 applicants. So council, should we invite the applicants to speak? Just invite them. You think that would be good? Okay, I think, what you guys think? Sure. Okay, so we'll get in contact with them. Okay, thank you, Les. Let's see, they're representing, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Tracy is here.
Monday.
Night, yeah, because we want all of them.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
I just wanted to acknowledge that she was here, yeah.
I got you. Let's see. Oh, yeah, thank you. They're requesting reappointment, Mays and Purdy. So those are that's for the Planning Commission, so. And we'll ask them to talk on Monday. Pottstown Metropolitan Region Planning Commission, 1 2-year term to expire January 1st, 2026. And Ryan requesting reappointment. Then we have Land Bank Board, 1 3-year term to expire April 9th, 2027. And let's see, any comments from citizens present?
Yes, so we have Majesty H, 2508 Walnut Ridge. I don't think that's in the borough.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Majesty. I am a resident, composer, and independent recording artist professionally known as Majesty. I was actually born and raised here in Montgomery County, and tonight I'm here to share a vision for a community-driven art installation launching here in Pottstown and local colleges such as Montgomery County Community, Ursinus, and Temple. This project is titled The Altered State. It's spelled a little bit differently. It's spelled A-L-T-A-R-E-D. My brand is built on cinematic hip-hop, a fusion of high-end orchestral scoring and philosophical storytelling. But I believe art shouldn't just live in the headphones, or it should live in the streets as well. So this week, I officially released the first puzzle piece single titled Sacrifice and launched a campus-wide scavenger hunt at Temple. I placed the handcrafted artifacts and manifesto flyers like the ones I brought in today, and I provided them to Miss Alexa. Excuse me. These pieces pose as deep questions about our shared human condition, perception, and mental health. Each manifesto flyer features a QR code that bridges the physical world to a digital, cinematic, and musical experience. This project is first of many, however. My goal is to establish Pottstown as a high-level artistry hub, proving that we can produce culture on par with any other major city, and that this town can produce high-level creatives. I'm not just asking for support of a song. I'm inviting you to recognize this as a community art walk that sparks introspection, dialogue, and connection with our residents. I look forward to building a cultural legacy starting with this borough. Thank you for your time. I'm open to any questions. Oh, I'm streaming on all platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube. Yeah, you just look up my name and I'm there. I just launched my my website the beginning of this year, actually. And so, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate
Sir,
it.
can you say your name again?
It's pronounced Majesty, Mahjestee.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I think that concludes public comment.
Okay, now for counselors' general discussion. Joe, we're gonna start at this end. Right. I know. You want? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Just keep in mind, Black History Month,
Mm-hmm.
especially considering the fact that we have an administration right now
Mm-hmm.
who's just flatly trying to erase everything, Afrocentric Black, anything that's to do with Black in this country is trying to get rid of it. And it just bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I mean, I'm just talking the way I'm thinking
Mhm.
in my head, so, excuse me, but, I'm really appealing to Republicans, voters,
Mm.
because right now they think they're doing what they want. They think they're doing what the Republican voters want, or else they wouldn't be here. But I'm not sure, I'm not sure if that's what they want, especially the extent of what they're doing right now. So, take away from the Smithsonian, they're just, taking murals down from the walls and things like that. I mean, they're just, the federal websites, they're just smearing, they're just scrubbing everything. So, I just want you to just consider that, just think about it. Because, as I said on this council before, I mean, this country wouldn't be here without our ancestors. All those years of free labor that we had, and selling our goods to countries with massive profits, that made this country rich. So I just want people to think about that. That's all. So that's what I need to say.
Thank you. Drew?
Thank you, Joe, for saying that. Yes, because it is sad. I don't recognize the place where I grew up, which wasn't Pottstown, but in the United States. I don't recognize it. And so far, what I've seen is that the administration is the most transparent administration I've ever seen. It's the most transparently hateful. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why we hate. I don't. I don't get a whole movement built upon hate. I don't get it. But everybody knows I'm weird, so I don't get it. I applaud my neighbor here for going out to Minneapolis,
Absolutely, yes.
okay, and doing something that I didn't even think of, nor did you ask me. But it's sad, and I want to thank Joe for bringing up this very important subject, that the only way that will change is because the people that we elected to help us, to protect us, are turning a blind eye. And the only people who are going to effect any change is the people. When the people tell them enough is enough, that's when change will occur.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to say the one key thing I did bring back from Minneapolis was the neighbors helping each other. And on a very small scale of that, I saw that in the snowstorm of neighbors helping each other dig out and be there and make sure everyone had groceries, at least in my block. And so just encouraged to kind of keep that spirit and let's look out for each other.
Absolutely, thank you. Ray?
So I wanted to thank the borough for sending Josh and I to some training. So last weekend, Josh and I spent 2 days in Reading with a bunch of other people from different boroughs and municipalities, learning how the ins and outs of municipalities, and we have no idea what we got ourselves into. It was super complex, but the people who were who led us through the, what was it, like 240 slides across 2 days? It was definitely death by PowerPoint. But, which I was a phrase I had never heard before, but I was like, oh, that's apt. It was amazing. We met a lot of great people from Birdsboro to the center of the state. We learned a lot about how strange boroughs are, but townships are even stranger. But we learned a lot and came back with a long list of questions, and I think a better understanding of what we are sort of setting out to do. So I just want to thank the opportunity to go and learn more. So.
Let me know when you're ready for the next one, or if anybody else would like to.
Well, I mean,
have trainings. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to pursue some more trainings because I mean, we really scraped the tip of the iceberg. But, and there was a question we had asked our instructors. They kept going over about you guys are you're the oversight of finance, and I'm like, okay, so do they have specific training on overseeing finance? And they're like, no. I was like, okay, but that's the thing we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
So. Yeah, but I mean, there's definitely a lot more training opportunities, and I would implore anybody to sort of check them out. It's really you get to know your town at a very granular level and understand a lot of the reasons why sometimes things happen. And we had there was some conversations. Sorry, I don't mean to make this too long.
You're fine.
There were some conversations about people who were there that were borough council members who had been on the other side, and they would say, I would start conversations at meetings and kind of agitate things, and now I'm behind on the other side. And
Right.
and
It's a
now I
different
understand
world.
why they do the way things the way they do. Yeah, so it was really fascinating.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Lisa?
So I only have two things. It doesn't have to be tonight, but if we could on Monday, if there's any update to the drone. We talked about a couple months ago that we were kind of urgent about. I just kind of want to know where we are. On Monday would be fine. The other thing that I wanted to say is I didn't grow up here. I've been here for 13 years. I bought my first home here. I love this town, but I want to remind everybody here, we are important. We deserve good things. We are able to have standards. We don't have to take whatever is handed to us. We are better than that. We are a wonderful community, and we are a great town that thrives. and we don't need to sell ourselves short or be told any different. That's all.
Thank you, Lisa. Ryan?
I was gonna say, I hate the snow, and I hate the cold. I moved here from, Chicago 20 years ago to try to avoid as much as I can, and then, I'm able-bodied, I have a big truck with four-wheel drive and snow tires, and I still can't stand it. It's kind of a bonding experience with my neighbors when we, shovel out our alley. I wish there was a practical way to have our alleys, plowed, but unfortunately there is not. And then I think people in the first ward suffer from the cold more than anyone else, because we did a pretty good job insulating our place, but in the last week, I've been going any little pinhole I could feel cold air coming in, shoveling insulation, and then I'm not looking forward to get my energy bill.
Yeah.
So I appreciate, our Public Works Department guys on the roads, and police officers dealing with it. It's just, hopefully, that's it.
Madam Mayor, do you have anything?
I just want to thank Josh for being here awesome. And that's about it. And don't listen to anything you read on social media.
Yeah, don't.
Paid agitator.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and for me, I would chime in on Joe about Washington. I'm from Washington DC, and it hurts me to see the things that's happening in my hometown, especially when it comes to things that people come to visit. People come to DC to see things, and like the cemeteries and stuff like that. It's just, it's sad, and I don't even like listening to it no more, but it's something. With that being said, I have some other stuff, but now I can't remember half the stuff that I wanted to say because I didn't write it down. That's at home, so I will re-up on Monday. But I do want to say one thing, and that is when Reverend Jesse Jackson was running for president. I know y'all probably don't remember that, but I'm aging myself here, so bear with me. He used to always say, during his speech, he would say, "Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive." So that's what I want y'all to do. When y'all in Pottstown, I want you to keep hope alive, okay? Because Pottstown is going to thrive, okay? So we have that village. And again, like I always say, we all can't do it by ourselves. We need y'all out there. We need you to help us. I can't do it by myself. Lisa can't do it by herself. We can't do it by ourselves, okay? None of us. So we need your help, Pottstown, okay? Thank you. For regular meeting, we have ordaining and vacating a portion of North Adams Street. Matt, you want to go with that? Sorry, that's at the end.
That's what we've talked about a couple times over the last couple months. There'll be a hearing, and then you'll have the opportunity to act on the ordinance that was advertised for Monday night. This is vacating the portion North Adams Street that was requested by the property owner.
Okay, and that's it. Okay, all right, everybody, that's it for tonight. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good night and be safe out there. And if you want to do anything, go and shovel some snow. We got plenty of snow out here. Okay, meet. No,
We don't shovel snow.
we don't.
None of us up here are responsible for shoveling.
No, I've just said they gonna shovel. They gonna shovel. Meeting adjourned.